Lemongrass is a plant in the grass family. It has a beautiful lemony smell, but does it also have scientifically verified health benefits? Can it be a natural remedy? Hey everybody, Chad Cruiser here with Health and Homestead. If you end up liking this video, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, share with your friends. When you hit that like button, when you share a comment, it actually helps more people learn about this video. Now, I'm the kind of person who I want to be shown the evidence for something. I don't just believe anything I hear. So if someone says, oh, this natural remedy is good for this, or this is good for this, it might be, but it totally also could be an old wives' tale. And so I want to know the actual research. And so that's what we're going to do. We're going to look and find out, is lemongrass potentially beneficial for anxiety? Is it actually potentially beneficial for lowering pain, helping out things like rheumatoid arthritis? Let's actually look at the research, because some things are true and some things aren't. So let's find out. Here's research out of the journal Phytomedicine, and it says formulation of an effective mosquito repellent topical product from lemongrass oil. So taking the actual essential oil from lemongrass, they have found, it's interesting how they did the study. It's kind of a it's not very nice for the poor birds, but so they took birds and they applied what I understand, a diluted form of lemongrass oil. They put it on the birds, and then they sent in, if I understand correctly, like half-starved mosquitoes. So these are like, you know, they're ready to attack these birds. And what they found is that it was as effective as commercial bug repellent or mosquito repellent. Somebody else tried it out and they found that it was a little bit less than DEET, but hey, it may not have all the negative side effects of something like DEET would have. DEET works unbelievably well. It might be slightly a lower level of efficacy, but at least it is potentially not harmful. Here's research in evidence-based complementary and alternative medicine on isolation of bioactive compounds that relate to the antiplatelet activity of lemongrass. Well, it turns out that in places like Australia, lemongrass has historically been used for things like cramps, also for headaches and problems with congestion in the chest. So the researchers actually sought to find out, is there some kind of compound, or are there compounds in lemongrass that actually may have some kind of medicinal benefit to the body? And the conclusion that the researchers came to was that there was this compound called eugenol, and that eugenol seemed to have a pain-lowering effect, and so this may be exactly why it has historically been used in places like Australia for these maladies. But what about things like anxiety? I know what it's like to have anxiety. I remember back in 2015, I believe, I was making a documentary, strangely enough, on health, and that documentary film literally changed my life. It's called Ancient Health. And as I was producing it, I was, super anxious. I was sitting there editing the film, and we had done a lot of the recording already, and as I'm editing it, I was just super stressed. Well, for me, it wasn't lemongrass that helped me out. It was a change of diet, and that just totally, I actually had gut issues. I had lived in Iceland. I had stomach trouble there. I lost a bunch of weight. And after that, for a number of years, had struggled with some depression and anxiety. After my gut was healed, my life has totally changed. I began to have the best years of my life after that. I'm actually glad that I went through that experience. It literally was life transforming. So I know what it's like. That's what I'm saying. That anxiety it's a terrible experience. It's simply not nice. But there are things, and one of the reasons for anxiety sometimes can be actually the gut-brain connection, which I was struggling with, and when my gut was healed, my mind was healed. But could it be that often people are not consuming the foods, the nutrition that will actually simply calm their bodies down? And if they were living and their body was in harmony with the way it was meant to function, getting the chemicals, the neurochemicals that it actually needs, could they actually have less stress? And one of those things could be found here in lemongrass. Here's from the Journal of Alternative Complementary Medicine, effective lemongrass aroma on experimental anxiety in humans. In this situation, it's even simply the scent of it. So here it is. Research was conducted comparing the anti-anxiety, in the research they call it the anxiolytic results of inhaling lemongrass oil, tea tree oil, or, well, simply water. They then went through a laboratory-induced stressful experience called the Stroop color word test. I've actually taken that. I was with a neurologist. I happened to be speaking somewhere, and a neurologist told us about this Stroop test, and he said, "Oh, give it a try." And boy, when I was first trying to figure it out, it was stressful. It's a very strange experience. You can actually play, it's like a game, but it's kind of stressful because you have to kind of try to pick the right colors or the right words. I don't even remember which, but nevertheless, they had to do this, and this was to cause the people in this study to go through a stressful experience. Those who inhaled lemongrass oil, which is simply 3 to 6 drops, lowered their level of anxiety and subjective tension. Although each group experienced stress during the test, the lemongrass group alone recovered from the stress within 5 minutes. So even though they all went through a stressful experience, and when you're going through stressful experiences like a test, often, well, many of us feel stressed, but the good thing is that they were able to calm down afterward, whereas the other two groups, those who were in the tea tree oil group and those in the water group, didn't have the same stress lowering benefits. So there seems to be some kind of stress lowering effect of even smelling it. And how nice that certain scents can actually change what is going on inside of our brains. By the way, this is a food that is actually consumed in many cultures around the world. It's just added to dishes for that nice lemony flavor. But what about research on rheumatoid arthritis? Here's research in the journal Pharmaceutical Sciences and Research tested the effectiveness of lemongrass oil on rheumatoid arthritis. 30 people who had rheumatoid arthritis were to apply 3 grams of lemongrass oil daily for 30 days. So they would actually apply it topically on their body. And it had a small effect on lowering their pain scores. This didn't heal the disease, but what it did do is it actually lowered the pain levels. The good news is for most people, there are lifestyle changes that they can make, and even dietary changes that when certain things are taken out of the diet can actually lower the amount of inflammation in the body, and therefore sometimes fully reduce the need for any kind of medication and get rid of the pain at the same time. So I'm planning on doing a video on that. If you have any interest in seeing it, hit the subscribe button so you don't miss that upcoming video. But what about lemongrass and just general pain? Research was conducted on individuals with various kinds of pain. They were given 5 milliliters of lemongrass oil a day for 30 days. And what did they find? You can see here at the beginning, this is their level of pain. After 1 week, it went down just a tiny bit. 2 weeks in, it went down more, and then it went down even further here in week 3. And they had a statistically significant lowering of their pain scores, and they continued to lower throughout the course of the study. And I think the study even mentioned, it said, and it probably would have just kept going. Now, I guess you know, studies only have so much money and so much time to do them, but their idea was that it would probably just continue to lower pain scores. And so here's the thing, certain medicinal things can have a benefit. They may be safe. Is this one safe? We're going to get to that. Now, one particular study had people consuming this, and what they found is that it actually made them urinate more often, and they said, well, after long periods of time, like every single day for a month of consuming it in medicinal levels, it might be a little too much. So this might be better something to do on a semi-regular basis rather than every single day of the week nonstop forever. According to WebMD, they suggest that eating lemongrass in the common levels that people typically consume it is probably safe. They said it's possibly safe when taken by mouth or applied to the skin, and they said it is possibly safe for medicinal purposes, but then they said some people may have a rash on their skin, and that's true with any kind of essential oil, that often when they're given at full strength, certain people with sensitive skin can actually get a rash from them. So often it's good to dilute them before applying them to the outside of the body. I actually drink it from time to time as a tea. If you're interested in that or the essential oil, I'm going to have some affiliate links down below. Check out our nearly 5-hour series on scientific herbs and natural remedies. Natural remedies are either loved or laughed at. Conventional medication is trusted by most almost implicitly, but it turns out that different antibiotics, which are considered the greatest form of drug in history, are associated with 41% increased rates of Parkinson's disease, 40% increased risk of gastric cancer, 40% greater risk of lung cancer, 60% higher risk of rheumatoid arthritis, 23 to 56% greater risk of depression, and they are also associated with a higher risk of our #1 killer, heart disease. Are there other options? In this lecture series, we will look at many natural remedies, including herbs that have been tested head-to-head in scientific journals against some of the standard pharmaceutical medications. And we will discover that many natural remedies have been shown in evidence-based research to be just as good or better than many standard medications, in many cases with significantly lower side effects. We begin the series looking at some of the history of natural remedies from Egypt through Rome, all the way down to Native Americans. Session 2 delves into how to live a healthy life so that on the whole you do not have to use remedies. Then from session 3, 4, 5, and 6, we delve into study after study and find remedies for maladies ranging from migraines to PMS symptoms, how to change lifestyle to potentially reverse ED, and cholesterol, blood pressure, and blood sugar lowering remedies, a remedy for irritable bowel syndrome, in addition to remedies for depression and anxiety. We will look at a simple herb that helps as a sleep aid, and many more. So come along on a tour of history and research and learn more at anchorpointfilms.com. So if you're interested, check out the links below and also hit the subscribe button, share it with a friend. God bless and have a fantastic day.